We're back, coming at you with some good news today. I try and focus only on the good things. Try and keep a positive outlook on the whole situation. But the Tennessee Department of Environmental and Conservation, however that works out, TDEC, released a statement yesterday saying that the quality of the water in the river has reached a point where it's just as good as it was before Helene, which is awesome news. And I made a video down here, I don't know, months ago, where I had like a cheaper water testing kit, and I tested the water. Whoa, sand soft. And it came back good and clear and everything. But then there was a video that I found where another company had run water tests and basically said that essentially you're crazy if you rebuild back in the area, because they apparently found all kinds of bad things in it. And but yeah, TDEC tested the water and is saying that it's back to pre-Helene conditions. So here's the actual report from the TDEC, if you want to look that over and read it. This advisory was issued out of an abundance of caution and not based on any specific water quality data. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know how bad it was, obviously, until they'd done these tests. So here's the graphs. This is the locations they've been testing. This right here would be the Nolichucky River. And yeah, it's another area that was hit real hard up here in Elizabeth. This is all the parameters that they were testing for in the river. E. coli, solved oxygen, manganese, pretty much everything you can imagine would be in water. At almost every station and for each parameter, the levels documented after the flooding were comparable to what has been typically observed in previous sampling. So yeah, it's back to normal. And there's lots of good data on here that you can look at if you want to. Maybe pause the video or just go check out this article on your own. So this is a graph of the levels of E. coli that have been monitored in the river since early 2016. And you can see there in their last test, everything's back down to normal. Ammonia, another big one. You can see here levels of ammonia are actually higher in some of the tributaries than in the actual river, which is a interesting fact there. Conductivity. Will this be like a general idea of how much metal's in the water, I'm assuming? And you can see here, these tributaries are way up above the river for that. But again, everything's back to a base point where, I mean, if you weren't worried about it in 2016, you shouldn't be worried about it now. And this is the stations they have set up where they're monitoring the rivers, French Broad, Lick Creek, all kinds of tributaries and rivers and areas that's been flooded that they're monitoring. Here they're talking about the fish. TDEC has no reason to believe that current short-term fish consumption from these water bodies is not safe. Now, even before the flood, there was a kind of warning that they put out where you're only supposed to eat fish from the river one time a month or else you risk your health. And you can probably find that here at this link. However, it is possible that some pollutants in the floodwater settled into the bottom sediments in extremely low concentrations, but have the potential to eventually work their way into the flood chain over the long term, accumulating in the tissues of long-lived fish. So that makes sense, you know. That's kind of what I've been going off of my whole life. You don't eat the big fish, you throw the big fish back so you can get more small fish, then you eat the small fish. That's kind of the rule of fishing. So yeah, if you're going to be eating fish out of the river, don't eat the big ones. Eat the smaller ones. You just get 1 serving, 2 servings out of. And it says here they're going to continue to monitor the fish, and there will be advisories issued if levels of harmful pollutants exceed our human health trigger criteria. It says here, I think this is interesting, fish are scheduled to be collected from Douglas, Fort Loudon, and Boone reservoirs. And that would be water from the river, the Nolichucky River, water below everything, and then water from the Elizabethton area up here that goes into Boone. Yeah. A little overview of the TDEC information here. After I saw that other group in the video I saw about how bad the water was, I took that one video down because I was like, well, maybe my cheap little water testing kit isn't that accurate. And it's probably not as accurate as obviously like a lab test, but I figured it would just give like a general idea, you know. And I took it down though, like I said, because that one video, I don't want to be the guy that misled a bunch of people and got them sick or something. But yeah, she has cleaned herself. But if you enjoy recreation on the Nolichucky River, that's something you like to do in the summertime, I don't think you're going to be worried about it. The biggest problem you're going to have is finding an access spot, place to put in and take out. Now, that's not to say that, you know, a week after Helene, 2 weeks after Helene, maybe 3 weeks after Helene, that it's not to say that there wasn't stuff in the water then that could hurt you. But the Nolichucky River, being a free-flowing river, has no dams. It runs into another river, which runs into a lake. And there's oodles of freshwater streams that run into this river that feed it. North, South Indian, Rock Creek, Broad Shoal Creek, California Creek. Lots of creeks. That's just naming like the general area around here. And there's so many more. Deacons Creek, Dry Creek. And those are all like really clean fresh water supplies. They come straight off the mountain. And yeah, that's been a big part, I'm sure, of what's helped clean her up, is the extensive amount of tributaries that the river has that feeds it. And all that water, like I said, is clean, fresh water coming out of the mountains, out of the ground in some spots. I mean, yeah. Needless to say, if you enjoy any kind of recreation on the river, especially by summertime, I think you're going to be good, boys. I don't think she'll hurt you. Biggest concern still would be, you know, the sand, the mud. Any spots where water's going to collect and just sit, I would say, would be your main concern still. But, yeah, just wanted to shoot this one, let you guys know that she's cleaning up. And should have brought a fishing rod. Last time I was down here, the water was kind of iced over. I wouldn't have been able to cast, but it's cleared up now. I could have done a little fishing today, but maybe in the next one.